What's going on? This is My Life in the Shop. I'm your host, Donald Washington. Now, the picture that you're seeing right there was taken by a pair of pilots in an FA-18 Super Hornet in 2018 over the Atlantic Ocean. Now, the pictures were leaked. They are classified. However, they did ask in the article. I'm going to bring you guys the article. And the article is going to say that they went over and over. What else could this have been? It could have been a balloon, and the pilot said no, this thing was huge. They described it as inverted and bell-shaped. They described it having ridges or protrusions along its lateral edges extending towards its base. That it was impossible for it to be a balloon or anything else, that it wasn't floating in the air, it was just sitting there hovering. I want to bring you guys Luis Arredondo, the guy that opened up the Pentagon UFO program. All right, this is the article here. Leaked government photo shows motionless cube UFO. That's the article there. However, what happened before, during, and after this photo is classified. Now, my thing is this. Trump just released a statement about Roswell. He said that he heard some very interesting things about Roswell. However, classified. Now, at first the U.S. government said it's just a UFO balloon. I don't see anything being interesting about, they said it was a weather balloon. But I don't see anything being interesting about a weather balloon. Nor do I see why is that classified. I want to bring you guys Luis Arredondo on what he says about the UFOs. This is separate released Pentagon that was also leaked but released by the Pentagon. Listen to him.
We have identified some very, very interesting anomalous type of aircraft. Let's call them aircraft. Things that don't have any obvious flight surfaces, any obvious forms of propulsion, and maneuvering in ways that include extreme maneuverability beyond, I would submit, the healthy G-forces of a human or anything biological, hypersonic velocities, low observability, positive lift, again, seemingly in defying the laws of aerodynamics. Security clearance, who is paid and trusted by this country to go fight wars and to fly over cities with live munitions. And by the way, they're trained observers with millions of dollars invested in their training.
Yep.
I would submit to you it's pretty compelling. But on top of that, it's not just the eyewitness testimony. It is actual electro-optical data and radar returns. It's also people like radar operators and air traffic controllers. So I think the discussion should be maybe a little bit broader than that. I think people are focusing just on a set of F-18s when really it's a lot more than that.
So you know, it's important. I know you think that the government didn't take the threat seriously enough. So let me just ask you point blank the question. Do you believe that life from somewhere else, while you ran this program, came here, visited, observed?
I will tell you unequivocally that through the observation, scientific methodologies that were applied to look at this phenomena, that these aircraft, we'll call them aircraft, are displaying characteristics that are not currently within the U.S. inventory nor in any foreign inventory that we are aware of. My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
So now, you heard Luis Arredondo, who was head of the Pentagon program to investigate extraterrestrial craft. So this just came out last week, actually this week. This particular program, this is the article here. Alien exists, Trump almost let it slip, says Israeli professor and former space official. I'm going to bring you guys that news article. However, I want to bring you guys a whistleblower out of Area S4. His name is Bob Lazar. I want to bring you guys his testimony.
Gravity amplifiers for us and some of their different operating configurations.
There are 3 amplifiers. The craft can operate on a single one, can lift off the ground. The way in which it's propelled are two different ways. There's what they call Omicron configuration, where the craft is using one generator, or Delta configuration, where it's utilizing all three. Delta configuration would be for space travel. Essentially, the craft will tilt up on its side, as opposed to a science fiction movie where you see a flying saucer moving around. The craft will tilt up on its side, focus the three gravity generators to a single point, and move through space that way. Moving around the source of gravity is a problem to a disk because it's interference, essentially. So what they do is they work with that interference to their benefit. They'll use one gravity generator to lift the craft off the ground. And as opposed to what we're used to, for instance, a plane, once it's in the air, we envision thrust or some force coming out the back of it to push it forward. The crafts work completely opposite of that. What they do is once they're hovering in the air, they'll swing the gravity, two remaining gravity generators up in front of them and create a distortion, essentially a downhill. And the craft rolls downhill for infinity. It's always chasing a little distortion. That's why they...
Aliens exist, and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years, not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here.
So they're saying a contract to do experiments here. Very interesting, very interesting. My thing is this. If it's nothing, then why is everything so highly classified? Those fighter pilots can't say a word, or they're done. They're done. That's my thing. People at Area 51, they told the people that wanted to storm Area 51, don't do it. You won't survive it. You won't survive to tell what you saw. Now, if it's nothing, I'm trying to figure out how do they got the clearance just to murder everybody that step a foot on that base. That's amazing. Whatever secret they're hiding is so big that they will murder you if you even step foot on that base. That's big. Anyway, would you guys like, comment, let me know what you think about this video. Peace, peace.